This is video 2 for active reading and open response writing. In this video, we're going to actually put to practice some of the skills that we just learned. Remember that there are 4 steps in total to active reading. One is reading the question, prompt, or directions. The second is circling key direction verbs, such as discuss, contrast, and explain. Next is underlining important information that will help us answer the question, prompt, or direction. Then we need to rewrite in our own words what we're being asked to do so that we have a focus. And lastly, develop our plan to answer the question, prompt, or directions. And we can use the essay template to help us guide our thought process. From the article, Why Are Snowflakes Always Six-Sided?, the prompt states that snowflakes form six-sided structures. Based on this article, discuss in some detail 3 pieces of evidence that support this claim. So circle key direction verbs. One of those would be discuss, and I believe support is another good one. Underlining relevant information would be 3 pieces of evidence. And claim. So now we're going to rewrite this. So basically, we need 3 pieces of evidence that support the claim that snowflakes form six-sided structures. For example, 3 pieces of evidence that support the claim snowflakes are six-sided structures are blank, blank, and blank. Now it's time to read the text. I will read the first part with you to show you how to actively read by underlining and taking notes that are connected to our purpose for reading. This is the beginning part of your article. It's a well-known fact that all snowflakes have 6 sides, or at least I thought it was. Why Google is unable to Google that fact and has, on at least 2 occasions, created a doodle with a 8-sided snowflake is a mystery. What's less mysterious is how scientists can be so sure that all snowflakes have 6 sides. Have we examined all snowflakes? No, of course not. But the explanation lies in 2 words: hydrogen bonding. Well, this sounds important, so I'm going to underline it. Thanks to the intermolecular force of hydrogen bonding, all snowflakes have 6 sides. This is also very important. And hydrogen bonding also makes life as we know it possible. Now that's an important bond. Well, right now, this isn't an important fact. Hydrogen bonding makes life possible as we know it. However, it's not important to answering the question. So let's continue. You can't really understand hydrogen bonding, though, without understanding why water molecules are arranged like they are. So, to understand the 6-sided snowflake structure, I'm making myself some notes. We need to understand water molecules. So that's important. So here it says water consists of 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogen. The hydrogen atoms bond to the oxygen atom at a distance of exactly 104.5 degrees. Well, that could be important. Okay, so this is an example of what you need to be doing. What I want you to do at this time is pause the video, and you're now going to quietly read, and you are going to be annotating and taking notes and underlining and circling things that you feel are important in responding to the question. Now that you have had an opportunity to actively read and take notes, it's time to develop a plan for your answer. But first, we want to explain how this connects to the writing. Let's take a look at the open response writing steps and see where we are at this point. We have already completed numbers 1, 2, and 3. Having actively read the question, understanding what the question is asking, and actively reading the passage. So now our next step is to map out our answer. You can find the graphic organizer on the back of your paper. So what we're going to do next is write our response carefully using the map as a guide. Strategically repeat key words from the thesis in your body and in your ending sentences. Paragraph your response and then reread and edit your response. The first thing we have to do is write our claim statement. This comes from the restatement of our question. This is basically our thesis. I will put in our flip question and fill in the first blank. You need to fill in the other 2 blanks. So 3 pieces of evidence that support the claim that snowflakes are 6-sided, are hydrogen bonding, blank, and blank, and you put in the ones that you found. So my first topic is going to be hydrogen bonding. And it's always good to go back to the reading and find your examples. You should always want to have a transition. So as I said, the first example that supports the claim that snowflakes are 6-sided is hydrogen bonding. So I'm going to go back to my article, and it says, thanks to the intermolecular force of hydrogen bonding, all snowflakes have 6 sides. What we need to do now is find specific details for the example. So we need to conclude the paragraph by connecting the example to the thesis. So one might say, this example shows that snowflakes have 6 sides because. So we're going to go back to the reading and we're going to find an actual connection to the claim. I want you to try to do that. Then I want you to do the same for body paragraph 2 and body paragraph 3. But before you start, please watch the rest of the video. At this point, you will have your map completed, which is your graphic organizer. You're going to write your response using your map as a guide. Strategically repeat key words from the claim or thesis in your introductory paragraph and in your ending paragraph. This way you bring things full circle. Paragraph your response. There should be at least 5 when you're done. An introductory, 1 for each piece of evidence, and a concluding paragraph. Reread and edit your response. To help writing a strong and fully developed 5-paragraph essay, you may want to use this template as a guide. First, you're going to write your claim or your thesis statement that uses keywords from the question. Then you're going to write a transition using keywords from the claim to introduce your first example, providing some detail, evidence, or information for the reader about the example. Follow with an explanation that uses keywords from the claim to connect to the example. Then you're going to write a transition using keywords from the claim to introduce your second example. So you're doing the same thing as you did in your first paragraph, but for your second example. And then in your fourth paragraph, you're doing the same thing again. You're using a transition, keywords from your claim to link your third example, and then support it with evidence and information from the document. And lastly, writing a concluding statement that repeats the claim and the keywords from the question. Final step. You need to look over the rubric. The rubric will be used to score your essay. It shows the criteria upon which you will be assessed. The rubric is the same in all of your classes, so what one teacher expects, all of your teachers should expect. This essay and all the work you do that assists you in writing your response will be collected and reviewed. So not only going to hand in your essay, but you're going to hand in all of the documents, including your map. So let's take a minute and look at the different ways that you can score points. An 8-point content response contains a clear claim and insightfully answers all parts of the question. Response provides relevant and specific textual evidence. Explanations of evidence are clear and accurate and demonstrate superior understanding of the material. A 6 in content, the response contains a clear claim and adequately answers all parts of the question. The response provides relevant but general textual evidence. Explanations of evidence are mostly clear and accurate. And demonstrate superior understanding of the material. So you can see the difference between an 8 and a 6 in content are basically keywords: insightfully and adequately, specific and general, clear, mostly clear, superior, and good. Let's continue looking down. Responses contain a claim, but only partially answers the questions. Responses provide a mix of accurate and inaccurate information. Explanations of evidence are vague and or demonstrate limited understanding of the material. A 2 response contains a claim, but only minimally answers the question, so you don't have your 3 pieces of evidence. Responses provide insufficient and or largely inaccurate textual evidence. Explanations of evidence are unclear and or demonstrate minimal understanding. And 0, basically, you didn't get the point at all. Now let's look at form. Response contains sophisticated and effective use of transitions and strategic repetition, indicating complete control of the material. Response is logically and effectively organized in its claim, paragraphing, and sequencing. Response contains clear sentence structure with few or no errors. The response contains adequate but simplistic use of transitions and strategic repetition. Response is organized in its claim, paragraphing, and sequencing of examples. So it's organized, but it's not effective. Response contains clear sentence structure with no distracting errors, so a couple of minor errors. Response contains some inappropriate use of transitions and strategic repetition. Responses demonstrate lapses in the organization, paragraphing, or sequencing. Response contains lapses in sentence structure that interfere with the clarity of thought. And a 1 response contains incorrect or inadequate use of transitions. Response reflects minimal organization, and the response contains major errors in sentence structure. Legibility, easy to read, difficult to read. So, some important things to remember. This must be handwritten. So that's on loose leaf. Please write on every other line, so I have room to correct it. And then length, sufficient, 1, insufficient. Okay, so that's how you will be graded. 13 to 14 is advanced, 11 to 12 is proficient, 8 to 10 needs improvement, and 0 to 7 is failing. Okay, put your name on every sheet of paper when you're done. Make sure that you have showed evidence of active reading. So that means that you've underlined things, you've circled things, you have annotations on your document. You've completed all parts of the graphic organizer, written a well-constructed 5-paragraph essay that includes 3 pieces of evidence to support your claim, and that you've proofread your essay to make certain it makes sense and can be easily read. You will turn in the original document, which is the article with all your annotations on it, all your paper that you've worked on, your map, your essay, and your rubric. And that's it. And when you're all done, you can say, yeah, I did a good job, because I'm sure that you all will.